Okay, Akshay, I think most of them have joined. We can start with,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so good evening, everyone. Good evening for joining. Thank you for joining. Myself, Jagruti, and I am from Opportune Technologies. And welcome to our today's webinar. So, as you all are aware, we are Opportune Technologies and provides cloud-based and end-to-end HR solution, which is used by 300 plus clients and 3 lakhs plus users across India. And today, Opportune, in association with Nash, has organized this webinar for our esteemed clients. So now I'm delighting to introduce Mr. Akshay Dipali, a founder and a founder of Nash and an expert in employee pulse management. Can you please mute Urvita? Okay, thank you. So I'm delighted to introduce Mr. Akshay Dipali, the founder of Nash and an expert in employee pulse management. So today, Akshay will guide us in understanding how to foster a culture of engagement and drive an organizational success within our organizations. So, without any further delay, I would like to request our today's speaker, Mr. Akshay, to take it forward. Yes, Akshay.
Yeah, thank you, Jagruti. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Um Thank you so much for joining this webinar. So, as Jagruti mentioned, today I will take you guys through the inevitable future of AI in employee engagement. So, allow me a minute here to share my screen.
I have given it the right, Akshay.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So, I hope my screen is visible. So let's get started. So we all dabble in employee engagement, uh, but yet we are still not caught up with technology. I believe most of us are still doing employee engagement the old way, and the new way is right around the corner. That is the inclusion of technology and AI into it. So today I want to walk you guys through how we can harness the new technology and AI to transform employee engagement and improve, the workforce connection and various other factors that go along with it. So first off, I want to start off with some numbers, right? So AI in employee engagement is not new. There are already many researchers that has concluded and going on, and they're showing some strong numbers. So as you can see, I've gotten these from some credible sources, including Gallup and some universities who did research on this. So the organizations who use AI into their employee engagement strategies, their engagement actually grew up by 30%, productivity by 25%, and attrition also reduced by 20%. So you think of industries like IT, manufacturing, healthcare, technology. All these companies are seeing, or all these industries are seeing benefits from including or culminating into their strategies. So what are we doing now and how is it going to change? So if you look at most of the organizations, and I'm pretty sure not all of you are still using the old ways, but many of us are still using those old ways. How do we do employee engagement, or how do we gather feedback from the employees? How do we make sure that the employees are happy? So the go-to thing for us is the manual surveys, right? So almost all organizations do like yearly or biannually uh, surveys, manual surveys, and it's a good way. It kinds of work. It kind of works, but then there is no organized way of actually conducting survey, deriving data from it. There is a lot of manual work to draw inferences from the feedback that people give and actually create some roadmap out of it. All that is completely manual, takes a lot of work, and eventually organizations ends up coming up with one size fits all solution, right? And it's extremely time consuming, or either it takes a lot of money. Hello, yeah, sorry. Now, the future of AI is more real-time conversations. Instead of asking feedback from your employees once a year, twice a year, how about having real-time conversations with them every now and then? Not only that, having real-time conversations with them like a friend would talk to them, not interrogative, but more like a conversation, right? And not only that, but understanding when you have conversations with people, you understand what they are saying and then you respond to that, understanding each individual's responses and charting a personalized engagement and development plans, uh, coming up with predictive and sentiment analysis for all of them, then enhancing the communication channels, and most importantly taking a proactive approach. So far it has always been reactive. We ask certain questions, people give responses, and then we take a reactive approach towards it, then we act on it. But what if we can form patterns out of people's responses and then actually predict what's going to happen? And that's the beauty of AI. So there are various factors. I want to walk you through each one of them. So the very first is, let's understand employee sentiments. So what does it entail, understanding employee sentiments? So very first thing is, it's a good segue from annual surveys to having real-time conversations. Again, something that I mentioned a minute ago. It replaces boring and long survey forms, and it's more of asking employees, "Hey, how are you doing today?" Checking their alignment with the core values of the organization, right? The second thing, what sentiment analysis does is that it analyzes the employee feedback in real time. What I mean by that is basically if an employee is responding now, it does not wait to analyze what the employees have said. It takes all the responses, derives information from it, insights from it, and comes to a conclusion that, hey, this is the problem that people are talking about right now. Right. And it also understands the mood of the employees. Now, I will tell you why doing it real time is very effective. I'll come to that. But let's look at what the benefits of sentiment analysis is. The very first thing is improved responsiveness, right? Because it's real time, the responsiveness of the employees goes up. You can form patterns and anomalies. You can understand each individual at a deeper level, and in return, you can, create personalized, paths, development paths, and career paths for the employees, and this in turn increases retention and productivity. So the next thing of the AI is predictive analytics. Now, we talked about sentiment analysis of how, unlike traditional surveys, how sentiment analysis can actually analyze people responses. Now, how the same responses can predict what's coming. So let's look into that. So the very first thing is proactive risk identification. So predictive analytics can actually identify your at-risk employees, considering various factors, and then flag those to you. So if there are any employees who are, showing signs of burnout or giving a feedback that eventually talks about, them leaving the organization in one way or the other, predictive analytics has the ability to stop it and flag it and show it to you. So you can actually intervene early. That is one of the big things. That is why I mentioned, about the real-time conversations instead of annual surveys. So if you have real-time conversations and something gets flagged, you can take timely actions based on those real-time insights, which is very important. So if an employee is facing something, eventually it keeps on adding up and that employee can leave. But we can stop that employee from churning out and save that talent. And most importantly, this is not a shot in the dark. With AI, everything is measurable. In fact, companies who use AI shows that attrition has reduced by 20%. And what are the benefits of predictive analytics? It's obvious. The very first thing is reduce turnover costs. Right. So because we are able to identify at-risk employees, we are able to retain them. So you save both time and money of losing a resource, replacing the resource, and training that resource. And if it's a high value resource, you can easily 3x that number in time. It's That's how difficult it is to replace them. The second thing is enhanced employee satisfaction, right? Because each individual is identified as high risk or not, and because of that, personalized action plans and individual needs is taken care of, and that ensures that all your employees are satisfied on an individual level. And if all your employees are satisfied on an individual level, together they make a strong workforce. So in fact, it has been shown that predictive analytics eventually fosters loyalty as one of the attributes in the workplace. Now, I talked about sentiment analysis and predictive analysis, and also about creating individual experiences. But how do we really create those personalized individual experiences? Now, I want you to think of having a coach. At some point in time, we have either hired or thought of hiring motivation coach, or L&D coach, and they work. Don't get me wrong, that they definitely work, but what happens is that one coach comes in with their framework. It's like a classroom style, 2 to 3 hours, right? And then they leave. But what if you can experience that? You can get an individual coach for each and every one of your employees throughout their employee life cycle. And that is the power of AI, right? So what we want to do is build scalable, personalized employee experience that feels like they have a coach throughout their employee life cycle. Now, the very first thing, how it works, how we can create a personalized employee experiences by personalizing the development plans and the reward system. So every employee within the organization has their to-do tasks. Think of how we can reward them. And it doesn't have to be a monetary reward. A lot of times, employees respond really well to a public recognition as such. So if you have a platform where you can recognize employees publicly, do that a lot. It boosts their morale. The second thing is, because we are taking this path, everything is data driven, right? You can identify skill gaps and growth opportunities, and also alignment is one of the big things, right? The organization's core values and the employees' personal goals and aspirations that they have, those can be aligned as well. And most importantly, I spoke about coach, right? What if the employee gets feedback in real time? So again, this is AI driven feedback based on the employee's responses, their work. It gives feedback, little bite sized information on how to get better. It's like a guidance, right? And again, no sugarcoating the impact of this. Definitely, the enhanced employee growth is there because we are treating each employee as an entity. So we are creating personalized development plans for them. So there is an enhanced employee growth. There is increased retention because we are taking care of each and every employee on an individual level. And this is a cyclical process. So there is continuous improvisation and optimization on how employees responding and how we are rewarding them, and how what kind of feedback we are giving them. And now the next thing is AI and remote and hybrid. This may not be applicable for everyone, but since COVID, there are many organizations who have gone either hybrid or completely remote, right? But with AI, you can still have them all under one roof. So what can you do if you're a distributed workforce? How can you use AI? So very first thing is, get the tools that actually enhance the collaboration between people. So, I know a lot of you are on Teams or Slack, but apart from that, if there are any tools where people can celebrate, like there are R&R tools, people can celebrate or, talk outside of, emails and Teams, get those tools. The second thing is, virtual collaboration. You can have a lot of these virtual stand-up meetings or things like that. Uh, and again, there are many tools, AI powered tools that actually measure many levels of engagement of people on these such kind of collaboration tools, right? And at the end of the day, the benefit of all this is improved team connectivity, productivity, and what you are trying to get is restart those water cooler conversations, basically, right? Build those relationships. And while you are inculcating AI into your engagement strategies, there is one thing that people usually overlook, that is the ethical side. So we have to keep in mind that at the end of the day, it's employee engagement. We are talking to humans, and we have to take care of psychological safety while we are implementing these tools. So there are few, things that you should absolutely not do. So how do you take care of your employees while implementing AI? The very first thing is ensure data privacy and fairness. So people are having conversations via email, through their collaboration tools. A lot of a lot of organizations must be using PMS and OKR tools as well. Make sure you're not utilizing technologies that look or read through these people's private messages, even though it is an organizational platform. So they're not reading through private Teams messages or emails. In fact, in many countries, this is downright illegal as well. So, but there are still tools that exist. I would highly, uh, discourage you from using those tools, because once that trust is broken with the employees, it's very hard to build that trust back. The second is promoting transparency. Let people know why you're using these tools, how you're adapting AI. Use AI to enhance their experience, instead of, giving them a vague, keeping them behind the curtains, basically. And at the end of the day, something that I mentioned a couple minutes ago, you have to balance this with empathy. That is one emotion that separates us from the machines, right? AI can give you amazing insights and data, but at the end of the day, you have to consider the AI bias as well. Human judgment. Use your best judgment to actually draw inferences from the insights and implement solutions. Uh, what we are aiming for here is scalable, trusted system, right? That is the end goal. And once we take care of these simple psychological safety pointers, we increase trust and credibility within our employees, and that's very, very important. For 1 second, if they feel that, hey, I think the software is intruding into how I'm working, that trust is gone. So definitely, you know, don't touch anything that breaks their trust. Inclusivity. So there are people from various backgrounds, there are people from various job roles, and people with various personalities. The best part about AI is that it adapts to each and every one of them. But at the end, uh, you know, we all are aligned towards the work that we are doing and towards the core value of the organization. So we have to be mindful of that. So there are a few do's and don'ts that I would want to walk you guys through, like very practical. So when we talk about AI, the first thing that comes into mind is ChatGPT, right? So I don't discourage you from using ChatGPT. Use ChatGPT by all means, but don't use it like you would use Google search. So don't ask ChatGPT for generic, hey, give me like 20 employee engagement survey questions or things like that. Don't do that. Instead, understand what are your core values. So we have clients whose core values are like accountability, integrity, respect, collaboration, things like that. And when we talk about these core values, these mean something for each and every organization. What respect or accountability means for your organization might mean something different from the other organization. And even within the organization, what it means for a management will be different for what it means for a salesperson, or if you're in manufacturing company, what it means for a blue collar workforce. So consider the definition of each of your core values and then ask specific questions to give specific prompts to chat gpt. That way you are ensuring that whatever conversations or questions that you are going to ask to your employees, you are asking it in a way that aligns with your core values. Even after that, don't rely on AI blindly. Continuously monitor for bias. Even in chat gpt they say that there is a disclaimer at the bottom that AI can give wrong outputs sometimes. So monitor it for bias, make sure that your expectation with the output is matched, and then go ahead with it. And this is something that I talked about when I covered the psychological safety. So don't use AI tools in a way that feels, intrusive or like you're spying on people. So there are many tools that monitors how much time people are spending on each tab. Is the mouse moving or not? Or it secretly records people from cameras. I would highly discourage you, don't use any such tools. Don't micromanage people. Instead, use AI for operational scalability and faster resolution. So if you can use AI, if you can use AI to understand people's sentiments, what they are saying, what are their challenges, and how can I resolve them, then definitely use AI for those things. Right? Don't use one size fits all solution. That is a thing of the past. We all have been doing things that way. If we see some challenge, okay, change an HR policy or change some other thing, and then everyone will like it. It usually doesn't work. But then again, previously we didn't have any other option. Now there is AI. You can understand people at an individual level, and you can also develop people in a personalized way. So definitely use tools that do that, and you'll definitely see results. And finally, don't use AI to replace. Instead, use it to augment. Know that AI is your means towards achieving, better employee relations, reducing attrition, reducing burnout, but never ever use AI to augment. I mean, I don't think the technology is there yet. We are years away from AGI, but definitely don't use AI to replace. Use it to enhance the employee experience and augment it. Right. And that's it from my end. Thank you so much, guys. I'm open for any questions if you guys have.
Thank you, Akshay. Thanks a
You.
lot for this wonderful session.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask, or you can drop your question in the chat box also.
Hello.
Yes, Ayush.
Yeah, hi. So I had a
Hi.
question. So thank you for the presentation, quite insightful.
Thank you,
Um,
Ayush.
so the challenge that I anticipate is that while it's quite clear the benefits of AI, the challenge of implementation is in terms of data collection.
Yeah.
And how would you recommend to go about that? Because the AI will give insights and give a great deal of benefits once that is aggregated, but there are a lot of things on the HR front. Even to understand and reduce the churn, there are a lot of subtle details that are required to be analyzed. But how do we firstly bring that into a data point that can be analyzed and link it to the software?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So, in fact, it is the big question because AI in employee engagement or HR itself is very unorganized, right? So, I would suggest uh, very first thing is look for tools that actually use AI to analyze and give outputs. The second thing is there are two things that I would consider. One is the people's productivity. Whenever people are feeling like, I'm talking strictly about from the attrition perspective, whenever people are feeling burned out or they're not feeling well connected within the organization, their productivity goes down, and it usually shows in and in some roles it shows like in sales roles it downright shows like okay their meetings have gone down, their sales calls have gone down and things like that, but otherwise it shows. The second thing is how much are you talking to them, are their managers having one-on-ones with them and things like that. And there are many tools that can again scale that conversations with them. So from my point of view, I would, if people are feeling something, in my experience, I have seen that they talk about it a lot. As long as, you have made a safe space for them to, give feedback, they talk about it a lot. So definitely consider taking their feedback and feeding it into some kind of system along with, the tools that you are using to measure their work, either OKR tools or something like that. If you combine these two, their feedback plus their productivity tracker, I think you are hitting the nail 75-80%. There are other factors, I agree, as you mentioned, but then these two are the biggest of them. And if you can consolidate these two into a system to, analyze and, get outputs, that's good enough already.
Got it. Thank you. Thanks.
I think someone asked a question in the chat.
Yeah, it's in chat.
Okay, which tools would you recommend for AI in HR? So that's a that's pretty broad. If you ask, again, this is specific to employee engagement. There are tools for each one of those functionalities. So if you talk about, R&R, there are AI tools for that. If you talk about collaboration, there are AI tools for that. I think a simple Google search will give you those answers. Uh, but I mean, your question is too broad, Naila. So if you have any specific, like, are you looking for a tool specific in certain vertical of an HR? Then maybe I can recommend you 2 or 3 tools. Yeah, no problem. Your audio is not working. So are you looking for, I mean, your chat is open. Unless other people have any questions, maybe you can type in and I can answer those for you. Okay, I see specifically in employee engagement and to reduce attrition and to increase productivity. Okay, so there are 2 tools that you can definitely use. And I'm going to go out of limb and self-promote myself here a little bit. There is Nasch.io. You can check us out. There's one tool that we're using, but again, I'm not going to self-promote myself that way. There is another thing that you should definitely consider while increasing employee engagement. That is recognition. So for recognition, you can check out Zozo Day. They have an amazing R&R tool. So combine Zozo Day's tool and Nash, you have a good thing going on that can measure and increase employee engagement and reduce attrition. Right, guys, any other questions? Okay, I want to identify the employees who are disengaged and also the reasons of their disengagement. The best way to do that is actually implement tools that can talk to the employees. In my experience, in fact, with our clients, this is exactly what we do. So employees tend to speak up. If you are running surveys, make sure that these surveys are anonymous. Let employees speak up. And you can identify it. But although there are various factors, so if they're misaligned, there are. Okay, which tool do you recommend? I would recommend, a conversationing tool. So again, if you have heard of Infido is one of them. Then Nasch is there again. That's a shameless plug from my end, but this is specifically what we do. But if you are looking to identify from your existing tools, then if I don't know which tool you are using to gather feedback from your employees, but if you're using SurveyMonkey or Google Forms, those tools will not help you. To be honest, you'll have to go for a little better version of those tools. So I would recommend either Infido or Nash. There's one more thing that you can do. Do you have suggestion box, like digital suggestion box or something like that within your HRMS? Either that is one thing that you can definitely consider. Or if you have that module within your HRMS, you can upgrade to that. Great. Any more questions? It's the tool, definitely. The questionnaire comes dime a dozen. Like, for example, Gallup Q12 questions, they're very famous since decades, and it's easily available. The 12 questions is easily available. But asking those 12 questions means nothing if you don't have the right tool to draw insights from it. So it's definitely the tool that will get you the pulse and the solution. It's not just the questions. Questions is a small part of it. Any tool you can recommend for identifying training needs and measuring training ROI? Jagruti, I think you are the right person to answer this. You guys already have something, right?
Yes, we do have the LMS part. Okay, so Bhavna, you can connect me for it. We can surely discuss on it later on.
Right.
I'll share my number in the chat box.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have shared my number. We can discuss it on call.
Perfect. Any more questions, guys? These are some really good questions. Okay, I guess no more questions, Jagruti. So
Okay.
can
Okay, so
Yes.
we can wind up. Thank you so much once again, Akshay. Would like to thank all our participants for their time and participation. I hope our participation has our participants have also gained a lot of knowledge out of it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for having
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
Thank you so
Have
much,
a good
everyone.
weekend and Happy New Year to everyone.
Thank you, Akshay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.